Sidhbari. Uttered in hushed tones of deep reverence, Sidhbari signifies the mystic peaks of spirituality to Chinmaya devotees the world over.
This is a place where many Siddhas would come and spend their final moments in this physical form, and therefore it is called as Sidhbari. And it is in this sacred place Pujya Gurudev built this beautiful ashram, Sandipani, Himalaya.
It was the place where Pujya Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda taught Vedanta for years. Paramaguru Swami Tapovan Maharaj had passed through the Kangra valley. Years later, Pujya Gurudev came there in a quest for a base to teach Vedanta in the Himalayas and to uplift the lives of the natives of the region. In his own words, "I had been planning this for the last 3 years, scouting for the right place, discovering the required funds and building the campus for running the Sandipani Himalayas to accommodate 40 brahmacharis to preach in the predominantly Hindi-speaking areas and some 20 brahmacharis to serve in the upper and interior areas of the Himalayas. I am now turning my full attention to an aspect of the revival program, to serve the poor but noble people living in the interior villages of the Himalayas, the Pahadis. This is a gigantic work amidst a people who cannot see through our vision-oriented program and are not so enthusiastic about us and our work. But that will not discourage us. We are sure we will soon catch their attention and compel their respectful admiration by the sheer benevolence of our services to their community." Colonel L.S. Patania worked hard to acquire the land, and on March 24, 1977, the Chinmaya Tapovan Trust was formed and registered with the help of Sri Jagdish Prasad and a dedicated team. The initial years were full of challenges like poor access to roads, not enough electricity, and scant water supply. But with Pujya Gurudev's astute guidance, the place was soon transformed into a splendid sanctuary of spirituality and seva. One of the first structures to come up in Sidhbari was Pujya Gurudev's kutia, and it remains the heart of the place to this day. In 1976, Pujya Gurudev wrote to Colonel Patania with an outline of his plans. At the top, he had a Shivalinga installed. He then had the Nandi in front of the kutia, facing outward, and said, "A man who has emptied his vasanas is Shiva, and such a person, if he has to function in the world, the vehicle should be ever ready." The heavy wooden door at the entrance to the kutia shows Pujya Gurudev's impeccable aesthetic sense that pervades the way the entire kutia is done up. The office area was Pujya Gurudev's temple, and his desk was his altar. From there, his mighty pen would reach out and touch the hearts and minds of thousands all over the world. In Sidhbari, Pujya Gurudev wished to impart the vision of Vedanta to the Pahadi youth through a devoted study of the Tulsi Ramayana, along with the knowledge of homeopathy and agriculture to further their material well-being. However, in the contemplative atmosphere of the place, it grew into a full-fledged Vedantic Gurukul. But first, a satsang hall had to be built. Pujya Gurudev's broad vision for Sandipani was equally matched by his sharp focus on the minutest details at every stage of the construction. Let us see. Get the pillars fixed up in concrete with 2 bolts. The plate of the lower portion of the pillars can be fixed with nuts. The door to the satsang hall was designed so beautifully. Even the carpets deserved perfection in planning. He even gave instructions on how to lay them. 2 feet we will leave in the center as an aisle and half feet from the wall, so no one will lean on to the wall. The first Acharya of Sandipani Himalayas was Brahmachari Vivek Chaitanya, now Pujya Guruji Swami Tejomayananda. He conducted the first Vedanta course in Hindi.
So we have some 12 students now to whom the training in Vedanta is given in Hindi medium. So we have regular classes for them. Then Vedic chanting. Then the class of Vedanta will be there. They will have to write notes every day. I correct those notes. And then when one text is completed, I conduct a test also so that I know how much they have understood. Then Sanskrit classes are there. Then evening, satsang. Satsang means we do some bhajan, kirtan, devotional songs, and then question answer session. Whatever they have learnt in morning class, they have some questions and doubts. So they ask in that evening session. That's the activity at this moment going on.
On the ashram's inauguration on April 25, 1981, Gurudev had him light the Jyoti, symbolizing the lamp of knowledge. One of the students nourished in this first batch grew to be a stalwart in Vedanta and became known as Swami Subodhananda. He taught 3 full Vedanta courses in Hindi at Sandipani Himalayas, trained numerous brahmacharis, and travelled widely in North India, teaching and spreading the knowledge.
क्षेत्र के लोग हैं, काफ़ी बड़ी संख्या है उनकी, और वो जानने वाले, अंग्रेजी जानने वाले कम हैं, तो सब लोग सांदीपनी साधनालय बॉम्बे में जा नहीं सकते थे, और वहाँ से अंग्रेजी में पढ़ करके आकर के हिंदी क्षेत्रों में ठीक से प्रचार होता नहीं था। तो अंग्रेजी के बाद पहला सांदीपनी यहाँ खुला, क्योंकि हिमालय में खुला इसलिए उसका नाम पड़ा सांदीपनी हिमालय।
Sidhbari soon became a vibrant spiritual hub. Many of our senior Swamis have received Sannyasa Diksha here. So far, 12 Vedanta courses have been held in Sidhbari, and the 13th one concludes on May 8, 2023. In the early years, the elevated hillock of the ashram was wind-swept, and nothing would grow because of the fierce gales that sometimes blew away even the heavy masonry tools. In order to appease the wind god, Pujya Gurudev decided to install a huge statue of his beloved son Sri Hanuman in the open. Gurudev sent a small sketch with a note to indicate what he wanted. Soon, the master Shilpi, Sri Kashinath, and his team set to work to bring alive the vision of Pujya Gurudev. The towering presence of Veera Hanuman sanctified the ashram and unleashed the flow of devotion in the heart of every person who set eyes on him. In October 1982, Swami Chinmayananda performed the Mastakabhishekam of Sri Hanuman. Since then, it has been a tradition to perform a Mahamastakabhishekam to Hanumanji in Sidhbari after every 5 years. The first Hanuman Mastakabhishekam showered the funds to lay the foundation for a unique temple for Sri Rama and Sita in their forest attire. Himachal Pradesh is replete with Devi temples. A temple for Sri Rama is a rarity here. On March 6, 1983, the Dhanya Adivasa ritual was performed, where the idols are made to repose in whole grains till the time of installation. In response to Gurudev's call for a Likita Japa Yajna, around 8,000 devotees from 24 countries wrote, Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. The total count of the written japa placed in the enclosure below the shrine was over 28 lakhs. The mandir construction was completed in a record 6 months. Pujya Gurudev remarked that Hanumanji himself was literally building the temple. The Kumbhabhishekam of the Vanavasi Ram Mandir was a momentous 3-day celebration in October 1983. Brahmachari Vivek Chaitanya was given Sannyasa Diksha. He became Swami Tejo Mayananda, our beloved Pujya Guruji. Guruji aa gaye. Sidhbari is synonymous with Pujya Gurudev's unforgettable spiritual camps. In the inaugural year of the ashram, from September 4th to October 28th, 1981, Pujya Gurudev conducted 5 historic camps that covered all 581 verses of the exquisite text of Viveka Chudamani.
Because the student knows that I may not get another chance. Here you are. And when the question paper is applied, the poor teacher is not given any choice. Answer any 3. Answer all. No choice to the teacher.
He encouraged the campers to use the spiritual retreat as a time for temporary sannyasa, of withdrawal from their usual noisy preoccupations to experience the silence of the self. He even made them don the ochre robe as a uniform for the duration of the camp. During the 3rd camp, the Dalai Lama visited the ashram for a special satsang. On October 27th, during the 5th camp, Pujya Gurudev consecrated the very special idols of Sri Kirata Murti Shiva and Parvati along with Lord Ganesha in an intricately carved mandap inside the satsang hall. And on October 28, 1981, Gurudev conducted a solemn convocation ceremony, a tradition he had started at the end of the first camp.
The names of you one by one will be called up as in any other convocation in the universe. In the presence of the feet of my Gurudev, there is a light. You light your candle and graciously, soft, walk. And there the India map is there. Whichever state from which you are coming, you place it there. Go and place it in your Andhra. Mrs. Wemaya.
Pujya Gurudev would say, it is absolutely necessary for spiritual sadhaks to dry dock to a quiet place like Sidhbari and listen to the spiritual masters, deeply reflect on them and lift the mind in contemplation on the reality. When we visit Sidhbari today, it is hard to imagine the unapproachable land that it was in the 1970s. Swami Chinmayananda's vision made that metamorphosis in the mountains happen. And the way the ashram has grown with the wholehearted teamwork of devotees reflects the purity and power of Pujya Gurudev's Sankalpa. Year after year, new buildings and facilities were added. Even the landscaping of the ashram and temple surroundings was done with aesthetic acumen by Pujya Gurudev. He gave clear instructions to Sri Madhwal, a retired forest officer, outlining the overall plan for the trees, the garden, the hedges, and even the grass. The idea of tree planting is sacred. Why not get a teak, a rosewood, and a chandan plant? Swami Chinmayananda used to describe true love as a dynamic giving and not a passive taking.
हमारा ऑडिटोरियम हॉल बना है, तब कमला हॉल भी नहीं बना था पहले वो, तो ये पूरा ग्राउंड खुला होता था। तो रात को यहाँ पर पूरा फिर वो डांस का प्रोग्राम चलता था हमारे पहाड़ी के साथ। तो गुरुदेव इतने मस्त हो के ना, वो भी लाठी लेके नाचते रहते। मैं तो यही बताऊंगा कि जब भी अगर हमें जन्म मिले तो गुरुदेव के ही सेवा में समर्पित रहे, उसके बिना और कुछ नहीं है, गुरुदेव के बिना कुछ नहीं है। और आज भी यहाँ कण कण में गुरुदेव हैं।
In March 1982, he initiated the efforts to serve the Pahadis. A free medical dispensary, Tapovan Arogya Sadan, was established. The services rendered by Dr. Jayanti, Dr. Vaidya, and Dr. Akhilam, later Swamini Nishthananda, are remembered by the villagers even today. The project grew with the help of many ashramites such as Sri Trilokinath, Sri K.R. Pai, later Swami Ramananda, and Dr. Shama Maitre, who joined in November 1985 after closing her pediatric practice in Delhi.
Pediatric conference, I said, I'm going back to Sidhbari as place in the Himachal and all that, and they all thought you're gone crazy. What are you doing? And I said to them, it's a far, far better place that I go to than I've ever been before. You know, it's a far, far better thing that I do than I've ever done before. And I really was blessed, and that's how I came here. Okay, that's my story about coming here. And I've never looked back after that because of Gurudev's great blessings.
Spread across rural India and transformed many lives. The Samadhi Sthal of Pujya Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda is a hallowed space in the Sidhbari ashram. Pujya Gurudev attained Mahasamadhi at 5:45 p.m. on August 3, 1993 in San Diego, California. After 42 years of teaching the highest knowledge, the ageless Guru left the frail body that he had used as the most exalted instrument of Bhagwan.
And today, it is his samadhi that crowns this whole valley from this hillock. For us at Chinmaya Mission, this is the most sacred place, the most sacred ashram, the abode of our Gurudev, his resting place.
Chinmaya Tapovan Ashram Sidhbari is an abode of 3 shrines. One is the mandir of Vanvasi, Sri Ramchandra Ji and Sita Ji, Sri Ramchandra Ji, the very embodiment of Dharma. Then there is that majestic Sri Hanuman Ji, the best ideal of a devotee in every respect. And the third is the sacred Samadhi of Param Puja Gurudev, which is always a source of inspiration and ananda. So there is dharma, there is devoted seva, and there is inspiration, inner inspiration. So, visit to this Sidhbari, you will get all these 3 in one. Therefore I say, एक बार 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 सिद्धबारी आओ रे, गुरुदेव हनुमत श्री राम दर्शन पाओ रे.